you must do everything to distinguish the true from the false. We will continue to dismantle the lies of the imperialist media that always try to create problems in Africa. Because these media with their words can make you a king tomorrow. With their words, they can remove you from your position as king and make you a poor slave tomorrow. Be careful. I was watching a show, unfortunately not long ago, from Burkina Faso, where a young journalist made a statement that left me a bit perplexed. He was talking about North Korea. And the journalist said, but they are starving in North Korea. Did he take the time to go to North Korea to investigate and really see if they are starving? The idea that imperialist media have sold about North Korea. North Korea is more developed than many European countries. And because these media tell us North Korea is a dictatorship, people are starving, they are poor, they have nothing. We take it as such. But North Korea is a nuclear power. How did they manage that? Let's pay attention to communication. We must not blindly follow these lying media that only seek to divide Africa. It's logical. They fight for the interests of their people. And the interest of their people is for Africa to be divided. So, youth of Burkina, youth of Africa, we must unite. We must banish cowardice, banish incompetence, banish treachery, and all vices from our societies. We have incompetence. We must seek to know, to have knowledge, to look at the world, in order to redefine democracy as we want it in Africa. The incompetent hide behind freedoms. Remember one thing, there is no such thing as individual freedom. That is a fact. Do you really think that everyone is free? Freedom is collective. As long as we live in a society with rules, freedom is collective. Because if you don't follow the rules, you can't live in society. If you are free to speak as you wish, the other is also free to respond as they wish. That would be chaos. If you are free to drive on the street and run a red light as you wish, the other is also free to go and crash into you. You understand that if individual freedom prevails, we are in a society of chaos. That's why there are rules in society. And the rules, everyone must respect them. And here we are talking about collective freedom. So some people claim the right to talk about their own individual freedom, but without considering others. I think this is also part of incompetence, because they do not seek to understand. They arrogate rights that perhaps the states have given them to act, to do everything for themselves, neglecting the freedoms of others. No, freedom is collective. Before taking an action, we think about the freedom of others, and we must not overstep the freedom of others. So that means we must exercise restraint. And once we have restraint, individual freedom does not exist. Freedom is collective, and we must cultivate this culture of collective freedom. Therefore, in seeking knowledge, let us read. Let us question history. Do not read the history that they have written in their favor. Seek knowledge through multiple sources, and you will understand in history who fought for Africa, how we must fight to continue this struggle of our predecessors. And I will not conclude my remarks without once again expressing my strong opinion on the aspect of communication. Because, as I said, it is the deadly weapon of imperialism. And you young people in Daxokot, you must do what I call nonsense. Gets millions of views. Precisely. As the young slam poet said, they want to make you waste time on trivialities. Become aware. Let's focus on work and seek knowledge. Let's seek competence. Entertaining oneself is fine, but we must work first before entertaining ourselves. Seek knowledge, otherwise you will waste time doing nothing. And youth is the period when you must use your time wisely. The imperialists know this. That's why they will multiply all kinds of distraction events. They will multiply all events that can divert you from work, so that you become incompetent. And at that moment, when you are asleep, they choose the incompetent to lead all important structures. And you have no choice but to comply. Let's not be incompetent, let's seek knowledge. The incompetent often hide behind words. They use terms like democracy and freedom without realizing what they mean. Comrades, democracy is a state of mind, just as youth is a state of mind. These so-called Democrats. But look at the world. How can one want to impose democracy by killing millions of people? That's dictatorship, not democracy. It cannot be imposed. Those who call themselves Democrats, but look, we have seen scenes where people were prevented from entering assemblies. We have seen scenes where forces entered assemblies to force deputies to adopt texts. We have seen even more terrible scenes than that, where people killed their protesters, yet they called themselves Democrats, and we are called coup plotters. If that's democracy, I repeat, we do not want that kind of democracy. And often when you see the incompetent, they do not seek to understand what the word democracy truly means. They just cling to the definition given by imperialism and start talking about democracy without truly knowing the foundation. That is incompetent. A few hours later, he was found dead in his bed, dead from a heart attack. If you betray, you will meet a grim end. That's how it is. Imperialism has no friends. Imperialism uses you. And when it is done using you, it does with you what it wants. Follow my gaze. You understand what I'm talking about. It has always been like this. The third vice I invite you to rid yourself of is incompetence. I return again to the words of the slam poet who walked on my tongue. Incompetence. You will understand what it is about. Incompetence is a very dangerous phenomenon that they have used to destroy African society. In our administrations, there is a lot of incompetence. Let's acknowledge it. The incompetent have a lot of space alongside imperialism, because the incompetent can hinder the development of a country. The incompetent can make you doubt yourself. The incompetent love ease. The incompetent want everything for themselves. The incompetent do not like those who are competent. They do not like those who innovate, those who seek. The incompetent are dangerous. When you are enlightened, the incompetent do not like you. When you want to innovate, the incompetent do not like you. The incompetent can recognize someone who is competent and will fight them to their last breath because they fear the competent. Seek knowledge. Seek knowledge and work. Work hard to be competent. Banish incompetence. Because through the distractions we are encouraged to adopt, we become incompetent. Let me give you an example. Social media is the prime place for publishing information today. People get informed through the internet and many other things. A young person who posts on social media an article about their farm or an agricultural project or a scientific project. I am young, I know the terms. It might not get 1,000 views, but a young person who posts about trivialities